This is why we call it a Crusty Chrysler.
Well, I've seen a picture of you last Saturday night. Didn't know it was you, but you're looking alright. I didn't understand it, but I wanted you to know. Where did you come from, baby? Where did you go when, baby?
Well, hey, if you don't like fixing things and making them just like brand used, this channel may not be for you. Well, hey, welcome back to another episode of the Crusty Chrysler. Today, we're going to see if we can get this beast to run. All right, show you more. Break a hole in the hood.
What's this thing we're taking this to?
You and I are going to the Hot Rod Power Tour. 2 days of it. We're not going to do the whole 5 days. I don't think the car can handle it. That's helping scrape some of the barnacles over here. Using this ice scraper 300 because I don't want to scratch this paint.
Some liquid nails, man.
Something, yeah, we could liquid nails this all up. Well, we could kind of rough all some, get a little sandpaper on it or something. Well, I wouldn't want to hit it too hard; it's liable to completely go away. But.
Cut your hands.
Yeah, especially here. But I'd hate to be going down the drag strip down there to No Nationals and the hood fly off.
Oh yeah.
That would suck.
Yeah, it would.
Okay. I'm just going to stick the key in the ignition here.
You want me to grab the battery?
Well, let's pull the spark plugs out.
Oh, you want to pull the plugs out first? Okay.
Yeah, I want to pull the plugs out.
Okay.
So we got no resistance at all.
All right.
And they're loose, they're hand tight. And then the spark plug wires are actually fixed so that you know right where they go.
That, yeah.
Well, I can't get this one. I'm going to have to get the socket. All right, let's put the battery in this and see if it'll turn over. Of course, we'll want to look for fire, whenever we hook that battery cable up to make sure that it, don't spark someplace and burn the car down. What? A terminal cleaner? Yes, I do. Straight from Whiteman Air Force Base, right here, baby. Pull the center out and you got her. I guess the statute of limitations is gone for that. Actually, that's some of that stuff we had to throw away one time when the IG was coming. So is that proof?
Yes, it is.
Oh well, we'll get vice grips.
You're gonna need a new one of them.
Oh, yeah, all right. Well, let's put the hot one on there first. See, I gotta make it a little longer.
Stingy on it.
Well, it's probably been modified so much over the years. Okay, there's that one. All right, so we have 122 on number 1,
129 on number 2, and
119 on 3. Well, actually, it's 1357, but yeah. What?
Down the right side of the block, left side of the block.
We're going down the right road,
Right.
or the driver's.
Yeah, driver's
right.
side.
The driver's, yeah, something like that. It would have been nice if we'd had the recorder on so you could have seen the first 3.
Yeah.
We need a cameraman.
We do.
Actually, Zach
do.
was going to try to be here today to help, but his daughter's got some kind of play or something she's in, and so we have to go to that. They didn't just put a whole lot of room in these things but I guess it's better than some. All right, well, let's try number 7, which is number 3 on the left side, or driver's side, whichever you're looking at. And let's see what we got.
All right,
Clear. Okay, I would say,
I might have filled that one a little bit full.
it's not bad though. 120, that's about 130. I'd say 130 on that one.
They can't see. Oh, there we go. There we go. Right directly in the middle. Look at that.
So this is.
Oh yeah. So that one go about 132.
Oh, really?
130 as well, I should say, not 132.
But 130 as well.
Yes, 130 as well.
And that is number 2, or or the 5th one we've done.
The front one on the passenger side. All right,
That
try
was
to
quick.
get this up here
Are we ready?
where it can be viewed. That one also around 130.
The next thing, I guess, if these are all, we put the plugs back in it, we're going to have to see if we got spark. Because who knows with this spark control computer solid state thingy
yeah, the magic box.
Yeah, it's got, well, this has actually got 2 of them on. It's got one up here that controls the carburetor, plus it's got one back there that controls the spark distributor.
I think they did any of that stuff to like 81 and a half or something.
Oh, this was a big deal. These spark controls, yeah, that was a Chrysler thing for sure. Yeah. Most people take that off. There's a delete kit you can get, and you take all that off.
That's where.
But I'm hoping we can just run her stock. You know, that's what I'm wanting to do.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, and there's all these bypass, EGR, air smog pump. This thing's got 4 catalytic converters on it.
Yeah, but not 1 or 2 sensors.
Yeah, they just threw parts at them. I mean, and they're pumping enough air with this air pump through the exhaust that you could make it as rich as you want and it still pass EPA.
Delete your.
That's how smart our government.
Yeah, I'm trying to get. Just a second. I'm trying to get this. Let's do that one again.
Do that again.
Yeah, do it again. Okay. So they're again about 119. What is that?
Well, we're still over 100 on all of them.
90, 100, 110. Yeah, so it's like 115.
115. So that's interesting because that one, the one straight across from it's 119, which has nothing to do with it because it's all on the same head. But just an interesting.
Gee whiz stuff.
Yeah, sure. We probably before we crank it over too much, we need to unhook the gas line because I don't. If it's got crap in the tank, I don't want to get that up in the carburetor. Number 8 coming up, or actually, yeah, that's number 8.
Yeah.
On both accounts.
And
Oh.
try to get out of our. Try to get where we can. Let's do that one again too.
Do it again.
Yeah. Okay, it's registered about 120, but then it's dropping off.
Oh, is it leaking down all the way?
No. Well, not so far.
Okay, so it's holding about one.
Yeah, it's holding at 115.
115. Okay. And I noticed on the oil pressure gauge, we actually got oil pressure too. So that's a plus.
Yeah.
That could be handy to know. All right, let's look and see what we got here. So we got number 1's 122, number 2's 130, number 3's 129, and then we got 130 on number 4. Number 5's 119, the number 6 is 115, number 7 is 130, and then we got 115 on number 8. So those two back in there are a little lower, but they didn't leak down. I would think if the head gasket was blown, it would leak through the water jacket or something.
Yeah.
So we might be safe there. Okay. All right, well, let's unhook the fuel pump hose from the tank, and let's put the spark plugs back in it and check it and see if we got spark. All right, show you more. Okay, well, we got the spark plugs back in there and gapped at 35 thousandths. We wouldn't want to do anything that wasn't what the book said to do, so let's see if we got some spark. I'll get you guys up in here where you can see this a little better.
Clear.
Did it spark?
It sparked a couple of times. It's pretty weak though.
Well, all right, show you more. All right, well, let's see if we got spark and we got compression and we had oil pressure. That's a good thing. So let's put a little fuel in there. Now we did disconnect, or Kent did. He disconnected the fuel line to the carburetor. So we're going to kind of want to watch back in there if this does start, because it might start pumping fuel, and of course it may not because it's been sitting for a long time. So let's give it a drink here. And I don't know if that's the bowl. I don't guess it ain't. Let's put a little in there. And let's see what we got. Alright. You want to give it a crank there, Kent?
Yep. Clear?
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's a runner. I tried to start. Go ahead. Yeah, it's not putting nothing back up there. Okay, I think what we're going to do is pull this alternator off of here, and so we can get to the fuel pump. And we're going to hook something up to the fuel pump, not the gas tank, and see if it actually pumps fuel up to the carburetor. So let's get that taken care of, and then we'll show you more. Alright, what we got here is a failure to communicate. This is a Chrysler, not a Ford or a Chevy. So, we took the alternator off so we can get in here and see the fuel pump down there. And so we're going to check and see if the fuel pump isn't any good. I don't think the tank in the car has anything in it, so that's a good thing. But not if we're trying to get fuel to it. So we're going to drop this into this and see if that pumps out that hole right there. So let's see what happens. Recording. So what we're going to do is get this thing whirling over, and we're going to see if gas is going to shoot up out of here. All right, give her a spin there, Kent. I don't see nothing yet. Again. think that thing be pumping gas by now.
What's that?
I would think that thing would be pumping gas by now. Alright, let's try it again, see what happens. Nope. Okay, so we need a new fuel pump. Well, that's probably about right. So, okay, so now we need a fuel pump and we need a filter and then little line. Probably I'll get some more. Yeah. Okay. All right, show you more. All right. Well, we're gonna have to shut her down because we ain't got no fuel pump. Fuel pump's bad, so we got one ordered. So when the fuel pump comes in, we'll put that on there and we'll see if we're pumping fuel, and if we are, then I guess we'll be like brand used and the thing will run. So anyway, all right, thanks for coming along. Show you more. Hey, it's Rick here, and welcome back to day 2 on the Crusty Chrysler. Okay, so if you remember correctly, when we left off yesterday, Kent was down here helping me, and we got it to fire. You saw that previously in this video, but we couldn't get fuel consistently up to the carburetor, which probably has to be rebuilt too. But I want to make sure that we have a pump that's pumping, and I want to try to stay original. I could have put an electric fuel pump on and alleviated the problem, but my goal is to keep this thing as original as I can and run it that way. That's kind of what I want to do. Maybe a lot of you will think I'm crazy. Comment down below if you do, that's fine. But the No Name Nationals, to me, is a chance for me to take the stuff that I do, which is trying to make it just like brand used, and go down and have some fun, and that's what we're going to do. So, with that said, I did go down to O'Reilly's. O'Reilly's doesn't sponsor this video, although they could if they want. Just get a hold of me at the address in the link. But I like O'Reilly's, so I went down to O'Reilly's, got me a couple of fuel filters, and so we're going to put a new fuel filter on, and we're going to put a new fuel pump that we purchased there as well. So we're going to get that on and see if we can get fuel pumped up to the carburetor. Now, a lot of you probably said, well, you know, you could have cut that fuel line and bottle fed it into the carburetor, and you're right, I could have, but I didn't want to lose that one-piece steel line that goes all the way down to the fuel pump. Since we're not changing it out with an electric fuel pump, I just, you know, that's just kind of the way I roll. So that's what we did, and let's get you down here and show you what we're going to do. Okay, well, what we got is a failure for the Crusty Chrysler to play nice. Before I put the new fuel pump on, I decided I'd blow some air through the lines to make sure that, you know, we had the lines clear to the trunk, or into the fuel tank, and we did blow some air back that way, and it did sound back at the fuel tank. But then all of a sudden I realized we got a leak. So I don't know if that's in the supply line or the return line, and I can see here that someone has already replaced a piece here. And if you go back here where it's tied in, it's dripping there too. So, but now we've got a rusted out place here. So, what I'm going to do, instead of putting the fuel pump on, is I'm going to jack this thing up, and we're going to have to fix this line coming from the tank before we get started on the fuel pump. Because I don't want to start this up. If you watched the earlier part of the videos, we have an exhaust on the driver's side, but the drinker side over here has no exhaust. It just ends right there, and so it's all missing here. So the flameage comes out this way, and you know, this fuel smells rather old because it's kind of stinky, but I'm sure that it's flammable. So anyway, so we got to fix this first and clean up our little mess here, and then we'll work on the fuel pump. All right, show you more. Okay, upon further investigation here, I have figured or found that there's 3 lines here. One is supply, one is return to the tank, and one is the vent, which is this little one, and it's actually unhooked up this way past where the jack stand is, or the jack and the jack stand. I do have both under here because I don't really trust the China jack stand and the China jack, so I'm just trying to put some faith in two of them together. So, and then when you get back here to the tank, it is actually hooked up to the tank up there, the vent. So what I think I'm going to do, and I'll show you up here in the front, but I'm going to take this loose because I think it's leaking where this metal bracket's been wrapped around these. Okay, so I'm going to take that loose, and I'm going to do a temporary repair on this so we can see if we can get the car started. Once we get it running and we make sure the engine's not knocking or some crazy thing like that, then we'll put a proper fuel line and stuff back here to the tank. So, but I want to show you up here. Okay, up here we've got where that vent line comes up. It comes up right through here and comes over here to this doogie whopper, this charcoal canister, where we've got a purge thing with a double canister over here and nothing hooked up to it, which I think this line from the carburetor is supposed to be either hooked up to this one, which you may not be able to see, or this one, because this says carb bowl, this one says vent to tank, and this one says purge valve. So I'm assuming there's a purge valve up under here somewhere. You know, all this wonderful stuff here. So anyway, I don't think we're going to do anything with that. If you guys think I'm crazy, you can tell me. I just don't think we're going to do anything with that purge valve and all that vent, and because the line is rusted in two down below, and it looks like it's been that way for a while. So if there's any venting from the carburetor, I think we're going to probably unhook most of that stuff anyway, and I don't even know if we're going to run that carburetor, and I don't even know if we're going to run this, what is it called? Spark control thing. I don't even know if we're going to run any of that yet. We're just trying to see if we can get it running. So I am going to do that repair, and then I'll show you more. Okay, guys and gals, I'm having to hold the camera, that's why it's shaking. So I took the bracket off here, as you can see. At the bracket, it came right off, actually, surprisingly. So I got that off, and the bolt, which bolts to this little thingy here. And so I took some brake clean and wiped this all off, and if you'll watch right there, it starts to have the fuel come through. So that tells me the hole, it's a small play hole, but it's right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that and put a piece of 5/8 on there. I'll probably do a little flare or a little edge on each end just so it'll hold the clamps good. It depends on how it cuts off. I may just run the pipe real long and way past it and then put some hose clamps on it. But it looks like it's 5/16 is what they've got over here on their patch that somebody else already did. So I'm going to do the same thing here, and this will get us fuel not leaking on the ground where the exhaust is going to blow flames out of there, hopefully. Alright, show you more. Okay, so what we got here, we wound up having to take the wheel off, as you can see. And while I was here, I pulled the brake drum off just to see how bad that is, and of course that's going to be needing all kinds of parts in there too. But what we had was this, where they had patched the fuel line before, this is where it's cut off, and it was actually broken and right where the piece of metal, you know, runs into the hose. So I cut that off a little, slid that back up on there, and then down under here you can see what I did, just so you'll know, is I took and cut that where it was dripping, and I ran the hose about equally on both sides, tightened it down, put the original mounting bracket back in there, and then of course they had zip ties up here. I had to cut a couple of them to get this fixed back here. So I just put some fancy red ones because red is high performance, right? I mean, I would think. Now, when we get this thing spinning and the drive shaft turning, I don't know if them waspers there will make it or not. Alright guys, well, I'm just going to have to call this a video. We didn't get it to run more than just firing. We know it's going to run, we just don't know how well yet. We do know we have oil pressure though, because the oil pressure gauge came up when we were cranking it and when it was firing. So, I hate to make the video any longer than it already is. Don't forget the No Name Nationals coming up. And we'll just have to try to make it like brand used next time. Hopefully, we can get it to run next time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the new subscribers. It's fantastic. Can't wait to see you all down at Sykeston, Missouri.
Well, I've seen a picture of you